Yo, what up, baby? It's your boy Indo. It's my Nindo. And I'm coming back at you again today with another episode of the Huddle Chat Sports. You know, around here we like to discuss teams, players, issues that aren't getting as much conversation, as much attention as they deserve. We like to plow new ground around here, and we like to tackle issues head on. We stay away from politics. It's just strictly sports, cannabis powered, sports driven. And today is a beautiful fucking day. Today is September 30th, 2020. And what a day to be a sports fan. The NBA Finals start today. Baseball postseason is going on right now. The NFL season is in full swing. We're getting into the meat and potatoes. We're about to start hitting bye weeks and all that good stuff. We really into the football season. We've never historically seen a week like this, a month like this, a time like this as sports fans, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm blessed right now. We're all blessed right now, getting so many sports and so many different angles from everything right now. It's almost even overload. It's almost too much, but I'm absolutely enjoying it, and I know as sports fans you are too. So today, you already know we got to jump right into the issues. But first things first, we got to smoke them if you got them. We got to stay high for the high quality, the high intensity. Now, if you don't consume, it's perfectly fine. But out here in Colorado, it's something that we do, and it's something a lot of people do, and that's why this podcast is going to be cannabis-powered and sports-driven. We don't focus on cannabis around here, but cannabis is something that's very prevalent in sports, and that's why it's becoming a normal part of life. You see it with the MLB, you see it with other leagues starting to not really test for marijuana anymore and allowing their players that form of medicine and that form of therapy. We got to stay marijuana driven around here. Marijuana powered, cannabis powered. So let's stay high for the high quality, baby.
Like as soon as you click on the video, it's and then marijuana title cards with smoke coming up. It's like
I just wanna know how you feel. Tell me, am I doing it right? I may be covered in cat hair, but I still smell good. Baby, let me know, how do I look in my do-rag? Don't lie to me, let me run.
So the very first thing that I want to talk about today is going to be, of course, the NBA Finals are tipping off tonight. We got to talk about this Miami Heat Los Angeles Lakers game. And of course, there's only two teams playing. The LA Lakers, led by LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And the Miami Heat, led by Jimmy Buckets, the man, the myth, the legend, looking like Django Unchained his damn self. He coming out here ready, and they coming out here hot. You come in looking at this postseason game tonight, the whole series, the LA Lakers have a 67% chance to win this series against the Miami Heat. They're an overwhelming favorite. It's not even close. My question is should the Lakers be such an overwhelming favorite to win the finals? I mean, yes, I agree. I believe that the Lakers have the best chance to win this series. I do believe the Lakers most likely are going to win this series. I got the Lakers in 6 and potentially even 5, to be honest with you, just depending on everything. But I'm not saying that the Miami Heat don't have a chance. They made it to the finals. They did it. They have a chance. Any team has a chance if they make it this far. But how good of a chance do the Miami Heat actually have? Because when we look at it, Anthony Davis is a top 5 player in basketball. And, I mean, worst case scenario, top half dozen players in basketball right now. And then LeBron James is all world. He's proven time and time again, he's proven all the haters wrong, all the doubters wrong, just like Tom Brady did. There is no cliff. LeBron is still here. He's still the best. He's still all world. In most cases, when you put 2 of the top 5 players in the NBA on the same squad, they make it to the finals. And when the team represents a team like the Los Angeles Lakers are built and how they're built, especially considering that one of those 2 players is the best player in the world, that team typically dominates the NBA Finals. I mean, let's be honest with each other. LeBron's been playing like LeBron James. Can't nobody stop the man. He's too big. It's a freight train coming down there. Anthony Davis has been on a tear. Anthony Davis has come out here and proven that he may actually mean more to the LA Lakers than LeBron James, especially on the offensive end. Rajon Rondo has been playing lights out. He's been balling. He's been a godsend for the LA Lakers. He's playing like playoff Rondo. And honestly, a big thing going against the Miami Heat is they just don't seem to have the big men prowess. They don't seem to have the big men to match up with the Lakers' big men, especially not LeBron James. But when you actually look at the Miami Heat, they have two main things going for them. The first thing is that they can get out there and they can guard the perimeter shot. The second thing is that they can make some perimeter shots, especially when you look at players like Hero, Tyler Robinson. I mean, Goran Dragic in the Eastern Conference Finals put up 7 fantastic games. He's balled out in those Eastern Conference Finals. And then you look at Andre Iguodala. Oh, and let's not forget Jimmy Butler, the actual star of the team. They are two of the best statistical LeBron James defenders in LeBron's careers, and they're both on the Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra is an elite coach, and Pat Riley is elitely running this organization, and you know Pat wants this bad. He wants to take this win against LeBron bad. Let's not forget that Pat Riley was actually on his way out of the league. He was getting ready to retire until LeBron took his talents from South Beach and went somewhere else, went back to Cleveland. Pat Riley stayed, and that was 6 years ago. I mean, and then honestly, the Miami Heat right now, they represent teams such as like the 2004 Detroit Pistons or the Spurs when Tim Duncan was on his decline and on his way out, and those teams that were able to upset the apple cart. And they actually have that very similar build. Like the players I just named, they have a lot of depth on their team. You look at players like Bam Adebayo and his couple games he's had in the bubble. He's been balling out. He's been otherworldly. It's been amazing to watch. The Miami Heat have a roster of players, a lot of depth. They don't seem to have necessarily a superstar, but they have a lot of players that play super well together, and they're just a bunch of fucking rough riders. They're a bunch of dogs out there, and they have a team that on any given night, any man can step up. Jimmy Butler hasn't even needed to step up and put the big man pants on and needed to take over at any point, because at any point in the game, another one of his teammates are taking over, and he hasn't needed to even put on the pants yet. So I'm excited to see if we get something like that from Jimmy Buckets himself in this final series. Another big thing that I don't think a lot of people are really taking into account, the Los Angeles Lakers, first of all, are like the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA, the New York Yankees of the NBA, the fan base that people that, even if they don't watch basketball or they need a bandwagon team, that just happens to be one of the defaults. The Los Angeles Lakers are one of the biggest fan bases in basketball, and they have a very insane home court advantage. Especially, I mean, any team with LeBron James wearing their jersey has an insane home court advantage. It's got to be otherworldly to watch LeBron James live, and just feeding off that crowd and feeding off that momentum. It's actually going to go into the Miami Heat's favor that they don't necessarily have to go into LA, and they're playing on a very neutral court. They're on a neutral playing ground. It's going to super work in Miami's favor and kind of be able to give them some of those really important games that may be able to swing the pendulum in their direction and give them that advantage in this final series. I mean, and then another thing, the Heat don't really have nothing to lose. I mean, on some real, all the pressure is on the LA Lakers and LeBron James in this final series. The Heat have already done more than what anybody expected. They had an absolutely amazing bubble, and nobody had them in the finals at the beginning of this season. They've already proven the haters wrong, just getting this far. So they have nothing to lose. They're completely playing with house money. Now, LeBron James, this could totally affect his legacy. LeBron James losing to a Miami Heat team that he's completely favored to win, that seemingly have no chance to defeat him, this could potentially affect LeBron James' legacy. And then, of course, it's the Kobe year. God rest his soul. The Lakers have a lot that they're playing for, and they have a lot riding on this season. And this is a really, like I said, they have all the pressure this season. The Miami Heat are playing with house money. And I think that the Miami Heat have way more than a puncher's chance to win this finals. I do think that they actually do stand a solid chance of upsetting the apple cart here and really shocking the world. Is it likely? We shall see. Game 1 is tonight. But I don't think it's as unlikely as everybody's making it out to be. Now, real quick, I want to switch directions with y'all. I want to take this from the basketball standpoint because, of course, the NBA Finals are tonight. But also, we're kicking off into NFL Week 4. We've had some really big, crazy news with the Tennessee Titans. And the Steelers game at this point, at the time of the recording, is postponed. We don't know whether they're going to play on Monday or Tuesday night. But fantasy football buyers, beware. It's going to be a crazy week. I'm already kind of stressing out about it, but I'm trying not to think about it too much. but Thursday is coming. So we got week 4 in the NFL approaching, and I want to bring point to a team that I feel like has been starting to get a little bit of attention, but they're not getting the attention that they deserve. Now, I'm talking about a team coming out the AFC East, and it's not going to be Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. It's not going to be It's not going to be Billy Boy. No, sir. Why? Why is nobody talking about the Buffalo Bills? I mean, the Buffalo Bills last season had a real solid chance at upsetting Tom Brady in that division. A couple things went around them on the second half of the season, but let's not forget, I believe that last season, y'all can fact check me. I'm going to have to Google it after this. I believe the Bills got off to like a 5, 6, 7-0 start last season. They had a super hot start to the season. Things kind of faltered off, but they still made the playoffs, and they had a solid chance at upsetting Tom Brady and the Patriots. Now, going into this season, before they signed Cam Newton, the Buffalo Bills should have been the hands-down favorites to win that division. Now that Cam Newton is there and Cam Newton is playing pretty well, Bill Belichick's an offensive genius. I mean, anybody that's going to be playing behind. I mean, even if Jarrett Stidham would have been the quarterback of the New England Patriots, they would have stood a chance in this division. As long as Bill Belichick is there, he's a genius. But why is nobody paying attention to the Buffalo Bills like they should? The Buffalo Bills have a super solid chance to win the AFC East. And I'm not even saying a solid chance. I believe that the Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East. If the Patriots make the playoffs, it's going to have to be through the wild card. Let's just first of all look at the defensive side of the ball. Last season, coming into the season in 2019, they were the number 2 overall defense, number 3 in yards allowed, and number 4 against the pass. They were a super solid defensive unit. Now, coming into this season, they haven't gotten off to a great start, and it's actually been, contrary to popular belief, it's actually been a very offensive-led team. Everybody thought this team was going to be driven by defense. Now, when you do look, of course, one of the main things that happened with the Buffalo Bills this offseason was the huge trade, Stephon Diggs. I mean, Minnesota just wasn't getting along with Stephon, and I mean, they pretty much gave up on him, and Stephon Diggs found a new home in Buffalo, and he is happy than a motherfucker. Let me tell you that Minnesota does miss him. I mean, I believe in week 2, Stephon Diggs had more yards. He was a better wide receiver in week 2 than the entire Minnesota Vikings receiver corps put together. Kirk Cousins has been an interception machine. You can tell he's absolutely missing his number 1 wide receiver. I mean, this team is as well-rounded of a team as you can find in the NFL. And they're about as well-coached of a team as you can find in the NFL, short of Bill Belichick. I mean, Sean McDermott is a genius. But the one thing I haven't even had to mention yet is Josh Allen, a player that I feel like has been very underrated and not been getting as much attention as he should be. He was balling last season, and he's balling this year. He's really starting to step up into that next tier of quarterback. He's proven to everybody that he can beat you in 3 ways. He can beat you with his mind, he can beat you with his arms, and he can beat you with his legs. He's definitely a dual-threat quarterback, and in today's quarterback league, you definitely need to be more of a mobile quarterback. The Peyton Manning days are kind of over. The Tom Brady days are kind of over. Like, being a pocket passer no longer is sufficient in the NFL. And Josh Allen is proving to us and proving to himself that he is both. He's a dual threat for sure. I mean, Josh Allen is the closest thing that we got to Cam Newton in these young quarterbacks. He's 6'5", 240 pounds. He's big, he's rugged, he's tough, and he can sling the ball downfield. And like I said, he's already added on Stephon Diggs, a great deep threat target. Honestly, I heard an analyst saying the other day that he thinks Josh Allen is the MVP through this portion of the season over Russell Wilson. And I mean, I can at least see the argument for it. Now, if you say Russell Wilson's the MVP, nobody's going to disagree with you, but you can at least see the argument because who is doing as much or more for their team than Josh Allen is doing for the Buffalo Bills? He's consistently proving to us that he can win the game in the fourth quarter. Now, week 3 was a bit of a debacle. We're not gonna forget about that. Week 3 was a bit of a debacle, but he did almost come back and do that Atlanta Falcons, and he almost came and lost that lead, but then he was able to come back and win that game and win the game in the fourth quarter. And Josh Allen in a lot of games has come back and won, and the Buffalo Bills have won games on Josh Allen's back. I mean, let's not forget the Rams defense is really good. As a matter of fact, they're the best second half team on defense in the NFL. And Josh Allen stood in there, stayed confident, and came through and won the game like a veteran quarterback. Again, like I said, Russell Wilson is the large MVP favorite to win this season. And he actually just broke Patrick Mahomes' record from last season with 14 total touchdowns through 3 games. Josh Allen in these 3 games has 12 total touchdowns. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes set the record last year at 13. Russell Wilson broke it at 14. Right now, Josh is at 12. He's right behind Russell Wilson. He's right behind that MVP candidate. I mean, week 1 comes in, has a career high in passing yards, and then follows it up with a week 2 performance even better than the first week. Now, again, like I said, week 3 was a bit of a debacle, but he beats one of the best defenses in the NFL. And like I said, this best second half defense in the NFL, and maintains that level of greatness. Again, like I said, you can also make the argument that Josh Allen's been playing a lot better because he's finally got a true number 1 wide receiver. And as a matter of fact, Buffalo has 3 really good ball catchers and a solid run game coming out with Devin Singletary. That's another fact that I haven't even been able to mention yet. So they've got a solid run unit. They've got a good quarterback. They've got 3 solid pass catchers, a solid tight end core, and an elite defense that's just kind of got off to a rough start. The Buffalo Bills are balling, and I don't see any signs necessarily of them slowing down. I mean, of course, it's a crazy season with COVID, injury, and stuff like that. But if everything goes right in a health standpoint, the Buffalo Bills have no issue beating out Bill Belichick's Patriots for that AFC East title. And I just don't understand why nobody's really talking about Buffalo. But I digress. And that is actually going to be it for today's episode. Again, today is September 30th, the last day of September. I hope y'all have an absolutely amazing start to the spooky season, to your October month. I can't wait to see you in my next video, in my first video of October. Again, please don't forget to like, don't forget to comment your ideas, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you've watched this far and you ain't subscribed yet, you're just trying to hurt my feelings. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Indo is my Nindo on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm always coming at y'all with any content you want to see, so just you can get in contact with me in virtually any way that you want to. Again, it's your boy Indo is my Nindo. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Huddle Chat Sports. I'm getting the fuck out of here. It's a couple hours to game time. I'm getting ready for it. But y'all stay safe, stay high, stay blazing. Much love, baby. Peace.